Okay. Wow, there's so much pollen outside, it's absolutely killing me. My car is just covered in a layer of pollen. It hasn't rained in a while. So Fujifilm on the 23rd, which is 2 days from now, is going to have an unveiling on the GFX100. They've already basically shown a working model and several mock-ups for the past, I don't know, what has it been, half a year. So everybody's already familiar with the fact that the 101 plus megapixel GFX with in-body image stabilization is coming out. And then it was coming out in the middle of this year. It's going to actually drop sometime in late June. As far as the 50mm f3.5, a 40mm equivalent, the pancake medium format lens, that is, I've been actually told by somebody at Fujifilm that that will be released in early fall. So, and somebody illicitly uploaded a GFX promo video from Fujifilm a few days ago. I watched it last night like about 8 times. The video nearly blew my mind, but I guess somebody at Fujifilm saw it and they immediately pulled it down. It was definitely an official video from Fujifilm. It was quite wonderful. Even though I'm no fan of IBIS, IBIS actually will be a great benefit on medium format due to shutter shake. People don't realize that, for example, 1/60th of a second is not the same as 1/60th of a second in another camera. And that seems very contradictory at superficial or face value. But that's not the case. The time of sensor exposure is a completely different entity than the time it takes to complete that exposure. So 1/500th of a second on a crop sensor or a full frame is absolutely not the same as 1/500th of a second on medium format. Sensor exposure duration, i.e. actual shutter speed, is not the same thing as the time required to complete that duration. Also, to the mass and inertia of the first and second curtains, even if you're using electronic front curtain and only using one shutter curtain, is drastically more pronounced as far as shutter shake is with medium format. Importantly, thank God I found out from some of the release specs, there's going to be 5.5 stops of IBIS for anti-camera shake and shutter shake. So 5.5 stops is really dramatic. It's going to be up to 2 times as fast as the 2 current GFX cameras, both of which I own. And what they mean by up to 2 times as fast, this means that the faster lenses, which are the 250, the 32-64, and the 120mm, and yeah, specifically the 110mm, are going to be faster. That is due to on-sensor phase detect autofocus, and I'm also assuming, probably very, very correctly, that there will be a split like there is on the XT3, where exposure processing is processed separately than autofocus processing, which is effectuated a faster autofocus and exposure processing on the XT3, which should be the case on the GFX100. Here's a fact. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. We've got 2 phases of something completely unique. Phase 1 has already been completed, which is the GFX 50S and 50R, both of which I own. They established a completely new precedent for digital photography, way, way, infinitely cheaper. People say, well, you know, it's a $4,500 camera like the GFX 50R. It's like, yeah, but do you know how much like a Mamiya Leaf Credo with that same damn sensor is? You know how many, and it's like an $18,000 camera. Price-wise and speed-wise, and medium format has never been for speed, but that's part of phase 2. Fujifilm established a precedent where they completely destroyed everybody else in the... And that's not my opinion. This is not fanboy talk. Fujifilm literally destroyed everybody when it came to medium format. Price-wise, speed, I mean, if you go to any of the medium format boards, it's 98% talk about Fujifilm. It's like, where's the talk about Phase 1 or Pentax or Mamiya or that Hasselblad turd muffin? There really is none. Everybody knows, whether it's conscious or subconscious, they know. It's like, it's awesome, it's the fastest, it's made extremely well, and it's incredibly cheap. Phase 2, and there's two reasons why the IBIS mechanism is going to be in the GFX100, because it doesn't have to be. Medium format, and I grew up with film medium format. My first camera was a medium format. It was a twin lens reflex. Medium format is essentially for architecture, tripod, corporate, product photography, high fashion. But I mean, the current GFX cameras are more than fast enough with certain lenses for moderate action, like I was capturing galloping women on galloping horses, are moving at quite a clip with a 75% hit rate with the 250 millimeter Fujifilm GFX lens. The two reasons for the image stabilization, the actual IBIS mech in the GFX100. Number one, shutter shake with medium format, which is a significant issue regardless of whether it's Fujifilm or anybody else. So shutter shake. Number two, due to the fact that, and this necessitates IBIS being in there, due to the fact of the new sensor having phase detect autofocus and having substantially faster not only autofocus capabilities due to phase detect but also processing for autofocus, the camera is going to be the world's first, it's not my opinion, this is a fact. I know somebody that actually has their hands on a GFX100 right now. Will be the world's first moderate action medium format camera. In other words, you can do with the correct lenses, not like, for example, the slow 63 millimeter or a little bit faster, the 45 millimeter, although still those will be faster. The 110 millimeter, the 250 millimeter, the 120 millimeter, the 32 to 64, the 100 to 200 millimeter. Love that lens. So compact, so lightweight. It also has optical image stabilization. IBIS combined with the OIS will be incredible. You'll actually have a 100 megapixel medium format camera that is capable with 100% reliability of capturing moderate action photography. What does moderate action mean? Other than at close proximity, Formula One cars or cyclists, rounding the corner, within 5 or 10 yards of you. I mean, that sort of action that you do need an XT3 for. And no action photography is ever required for print or otherwise 100 megapixels, but moderate action. In other words, you could reliably do the stuff that you've always, man, this is amazing. What if I had a medium format camera that could capture this action that would just produce images that are just absolutely mind-blowing? So Fujifilm now, and you can see in just the past 2.5 years, Fujifilm's went from nothing to 2 complete precedents of class on an entire arena of digital photography. We've got DX, we have full frame, and we got medium format. We essentially have 3 groups of digital photographic equipment. Fujifilm, within a couple years, now has 2 absolute precedences that no one will ever be able to catch up to. There's nobody even trying to. People say, well, Sony makes the sensor in the GFX100. Maybe they're going to have a try it. Well, Sony, is not even a camera company. It's a consumer electronics company. Their sensor division is separate, and while no one's complaining about their sensors, they don't have the wherewithal or the ability, nor are they interested in tackling. People say, well, medium format market is moderately small. Compared to what? Fujifilm now dominates. Fujifilm, by the way, and everybody said, well, people were telling me, and I told everybody they're wrong, and of course I was right. Fujifilm reported a few months ago that they have literally sold just a heaping buttload, excuse my language, a heaping buttload of, in their own language of course, heaping buttload of GFX 50R cameras, the digital rangefinder. Now it's on sale for $4,000, $4,500 typically. People are not going to buy that camera, it's expensive and it's slow. People that know what the hell is up and have 5 brain cells that want ultimate image output know what the hell the camera is. They're happy with it, and a lot of people bought that camera, including myself. That's actually my favorite digital camera of all time. It's the camera I've been waiting 10 plus years for. When people say, well, $10,000 in the GFX 100S, that is about to drop here in a month and a half, well, that's a lot of money. Compared to what, damn it? The old, slow, petrified dinosaur turd of a camera, the Mamiya Leaf Credo, okay, is sitting at what now? $18,000 plus. $8,000 more than the soon-to-be-released, blazing fast, highly spec'd, incredibly well built, phase detect autofocus, with twice the megapixels, over twice the megapixels, is $8,000 less than that dinosaur turd. So tell me again how the GFX 100 is expensive. Compared to what, damn it? Compared to what? I'm actually really happy I found out that my tilt adapter, which I use for the GFX, was the most amazing thing to have with the GFX 50S, is that damn tilt adapter, which is the EVF TL1. It is compatible with the new GFX 100 megapixel. Awesome! Oh, by the way, 16-bit raw recording on the new GFX. Well, 99.9% of everybody knows that medium format is not for video. It does 4K 30p video. If you're using medium format for video, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I mean, if Fujifilm wants to include it, you know, more power to them. Supposed to be on the EVF and the LCD are supposed to be absolutely incredible. First GFX series equipped with an Eterna mode. There's not any more removable grip. Of course, most people knew that. It's a single monoblock grip, kind of like a Nikon D4, D5, D3 series, where the grip is incorporated into the camera body, which is awesome. That saves on a lot of different stuff, actually, and it makes a more sensible and aesthetically beautiful design to not have a screw-on grip. Wow. Just wow. There's nobody's going to catch up to Fujifilm in medium format. Once this is released, you could already say that now about Fujifilm, but once this is released, people are going to say, you know, for medium format, there is Fujifilm and there's nothing else. I mean, there is a $50,000 phase 1, and it is a larger sensor. Incredibly expensive, insanely expensive. Autofocus is absolutely slower than a constipated turtle in the middle of winter. I can't actually tell the difference between it. Like, I can about like 3 to 5% better off the current 51 megapixel GFX cameras. You know, for 5% more. I mean, the 51 megapixel. I mean, everybody, even if they have no interest in Fujifilm at all, when they see a 300 megapixel full-size TIFF file from the current GFX cameras, I mean, everybody's the same. It's like, wow, holy shit, shut the door. That's it, period. I mean, what are you going to do? That's it. That is it. You know, unless you want to spend another $50,000 on top of that for a phase 1 that's, like I said, slower than a constipated turtle. Mind-boggling. So, 2 complete precedents from Fujifilm within. So, Fujifilm dominates in crop sensor. Small company. Relative to Canon or Nikon, Fujifilm's a small company. They will say that themselves. Totally dominate in crop sensor. Everybody in the world basically now owns, seemingly so, I know it's a bit of hyperbole, owns an XT3 and an XT30 or one of the two or both. And they absolutely own everybody's ass on medium format. Currently. And that's before the GFX 100 is re-released. So the new precedent, and this isn't my opinion, it's not speculation or rumor, a precedent will be set once the 100 is released. Now you've got a camera with phase detect autofocus, much faster processing for autofocus and exposure, that will be fully capable with 100% trust, unless it's, you know, like the 63mm, which is the slowest of the GFX lenses, and I have all the GFX lenses. Full reliability and trust for anything you want to do. Basically, it'll be 100, what could you compare it to? Certainly better than a Nikon D810, and way more autofocus points than a Nikon D810, but I don't know, it should be around 40%, really, realistically, about 30% faster than a Nikon D810. That's with the best linear motor lenses, the 110mm, 100 to 200, 32 to 64, 120 millimeter, and the 250 millimeter. That's a complete precedent, completely new echelon of achievement for a film format between crop sensor, full frame, and medium format. So that's remarkable, and within a very, very brief period of time. Fujifilm has absolutely made certain that nobody is going to even consider to take them to task on medium format. It's just not going to happen. And that's a wise, excuse me, my allergies are acting up, a wise business move on their part. Anyway, I will leave it there. I'm going to go blow my nose and take an allergy pill. You know, because there's a lot of pollen out there. And I hope you like this video. If you do, click the link below. Send me an email. I'm working hard on the second edition of my Fujifilm Tricks and Tips book. And have a nice day. Peace out.